I'm not finished yet. And you're not finished with me. You're never finished with me.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Newman, and today we're going to be unboxing It's a 1/6 scale figure that stands 12.6 inches tall. It's made of plastic and fabric, sports premium articulation, and comes with custom fabric clothing, as well as several accessories. I pre-ordered this in November of 2024 and it just arrived a couple of days ago. I typically don't do a lot of Hot Toys unboxings because they're so expensive, but when one grabs me, I gotta get it. Inside the box we have this great cardboard displayer of the Dark Knight in action in his classic pose, and underneath we have the clamshell packaging. Let's go ahead and get that out so we can take a look at this figure. Alright, there we have the figure, and it looks fantastic. It's not to be unexpected as Hot Toys does amazing work. There's a good amount of heft to the figure, so it feels sturdy. The paint and the sculpt work both look fantastic. The soft goods are looking good as well. I don't see any frayed edges or bad stitching. And the balance on the figure seems pretty solid as well, just straight away right out of the package. So that you can get a sense of scale, here is a 1/12 scale 6-inch Marvel Legends The Hand Ninja. In fact, if you click on the link above on your mobile device or home computer, you can see the review for that. It looks as though there are 4 wires in the cape, 2 at the edges and then 2 closer in. Yeah, you can see it right there. Taking a look at the articulation, it looks like there's a pretty good range of movement on the head. You can get some good angles on there, pretty good up and down. Feels like there are ratchet joints in the shoulders. It's got a bicep twist, and I don't think these are double jointed. If they are, they're heavily obstructed by the bicep. The ab crunch, if there is an ab crunch, is going to be kind of hindered by the padding. Like his chest and abs, it's all soft. Legs go up to about yay high on the side and yay high towards the front. So pretty standard for a 1/6 scale figure. And I believe these are double joints in the knees. Also ratchet jointed. There is a boot cut and pretty good ankle articulation, which is hidden within this boot, which is sort of a pleather material. Visually similar to the gloves and gauntlet, but a completely different material. And although I didn't show it, these wrists are going to be ball jointed, and they're pretty decent. So now, although the chest and the abs are padded, the arms and the legs, they are a hard plastic. So overall, I think the articulation is serviceable. You're not going to get super articulation like a Mafex or a Mezco or an SH Figure Arts. From my experience with my only other Hot Toy, they seem to be a completely different animal than your basic 1/12 scale figures. And besides, I'll always trade stability over articulation any day of the week. When posing figures, I prefer to be able to pose them without the use of a gripping arm or a stand as much as possible. So tight joints and good ankles are way more important to me than super articulation. And that goes for the sculpt itself. If the articulation interferes with the sculpt, I'm really not here for it. Again, I prefer the sculpt over the articulation as well. So Hot Toys is kind of right up my alley, it feels like. Too bad I'm poor. And like I said before, visually, I think this figure looks fantastic. I like that the costume is a little dirty. It's not super clean. There's a lot of texture to the gauntlets and the boots. And it's not a 1-for-1 recreation of Frank Miller's Batman, but more of a what if Frank Miller's Batman was in the real world. And because of that, this figure winds up looking kind of similar to the Ben Affleck Batman from BVS. Not so much the face sculpt, but more in the chest area, since that design is heavily inspired from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. The sculpt on the utility belt is also very good. There's a nice wash on there. There's some good paint application. And I love the chunky boot soles of his boots. It's both accurate to the comics and it gives it a real world flavor. Next up, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the accessories that the figure comes with. So strapped to the front, we've got this bad boy right here. Shows instructions for changing out his face. A couple of other things here and there as well. You can pause it, read it if you want, so you can get a glimpse into the into the instructions. Alright, so let's go ahead and get an aerial shot of all of the accessories that come in this thing. There we go, make it a little bit easier for everybody. So it looks like we've got 4 batarangs, 2 extra mouthpieces, a batarang attached to a rope, the rifle he used during the Two-Face segment of the comic and animated film, 4 extra pairs of hands, and 2 extra ball joints, as well as the stand too. The stand looks nice. One complaint I do have about the stand though is that I wish there was a waist grabber and an extended arm so we could get some aerial shots with the figure. As it stands, it's just a basic crotch grabber, which seems like kind of a missed opportunity. Swap out of the hands is pretty easy, no hair dryer or warm water required. And once you take this thing off, you can actually see underneath the gauntlet, and you can actually make out the muscle definition of the forearms. It looks as though the cloth is adhered to the plastic for the forearms and for the chest and the abs, but it's a little bit looser in the joints and the biceps. Basically, wherever there's a joint, it's a little bit looser and not actually adhered to it. The different hand fits in nice and tight, and it looks really good too. Head removal for the faceplate swap out is also a simple thing, just as easy as the initial installation of the head onto the figure. The faceplate is secured by 2 pegs. It's easy to just kind of push them out so you can swap out the faceplates. And taking a look at this new one right here that shows the teeth are actually glossy, so that's a really nice touch. It makes it very lifelike. And here's the smiling face, which is fantastic. I think this is my favorite look. So much so, I think I'm going to leave it like this when I display it on my shelf. A couple of other things to note with these accessories. Both the scope and the magazine are detachable from the rifle. This hand is designed specifically for the batarangs, all of which are very sharp, very easy to lose, so be careful with them. And the batarang with the rope attached, the string at the very end is actually a little bit harder than the rest of the string. So it allows you to thread it through both of the 2 fists, both of which have a hole drilled in the middle of it. So you can wrap it around his fist so it looks like he's gripping it. All of these things are in the instructions that come with the figure, so make sure you don't throw those out. There's always some interesting information on those instructions, even if it's redundant or it seems self-explanatory. It's always good to have them in case you miss something. Like me, I always miss stuff. Okay, final thoughts. Overall, I really like this figure. I think it's fantastic. Hot Toys does amazing work, so it's no surprise. I think it's a great adaptation of the Frank Miller Batman, not an exact duplication of it. I do wish the articulation was a little bit better in the leg, so I could get that Frank Miller Batman pose against the lightning sky, but I got kind of close. Also, it would have been great to have a Bruce Wayne head, and possibly opposing arm that could get him airborne. But other than that, I think the figure's fantastic. I bought it for $255 at Sideshow Collectibles. However, it looks like this figure is pretty much sold out everywhere. It's on the aftermarket for upwards of $400, so if you're still interested in getting it, you may have to go that route, unfortunately. So alright folks, I think that's going to wrap everything up. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, hit that bell for notifications, and I will check you later.